Some nights I fall asleep with the TV still on. Other nights I lie in bed staring at the ceiling, listening to the hum of the fridge and the occasional car passing by. It's not always the same. Sometimes I'm restless, sometimes I'm just blank, but it's been years since I've had a full night of sleep that felt effortless. You might know the feeling. You're not sick, not in pain, not even that stressed. And yet come bedtime, your body refuses to switch off. A few years ago, I started looking at sleep differently. Not as something to chase or fight for, but as something the body remembers how to do if we give it the right signals. And oddly enough, one of those signals turned out to be juice. Yes, juice, simple, homemade, real juice, not the sugary kind from the store. Because the truth is, certain fruits and vegetables contain natural compounds, like melatonin precursors, magnesium, and calming antioxidants that help the body ease into rest. Not force it, not sedate it, just guide it back to a rhythm it once knew well. So if you're like me, someone who's tried all the usual tips, maybe even given up a little, this might surprise you. In today's video, I'll share 5 juices that gently support deeper sleep, especially for those of us over 60. Nothing trendy, nothing extreme, just real, nourishing ingredients that speak your body's language. Let's get into it. Part 1. Apple juice for a calm, quiet mind after a long day. If you've ever turned off the lights, laid your head on the pillow, and felt like your mind refused to follow, this is for you. Because sometimes the hardest part about sleep isn't the aches, the noise, or the temperature, it's the thoughts. Not loud, dramatic ones, just quiet, constant thinking. You're not solving world problems. You're replaying small conversations, worrying if you drank enough water, thinking about that bill you meant to pay or the doctor's appointment next week. It's subtle, but enough to keep the brain alert while the body pleads for rest. That's why apple juice might surprise you. Most people think of apples as a snack for digestion or heart health, but they carry another gift, one that often goes unnoticed. Apples contain a natural, gentle form of melatonin, the hormone that helps regulate our sleep cycles. As we age, our bodies produce less melatonin, and that's part of why falling asleep feels harder, even when we're truly tired. Drinking a small glass of pure, unsweetened apple juice in the evening can give the brain a nudge, a reminder that it's time to wind down, not solve problems. But there's more to it than melatonin. Apples are rich in a group of compounds called polyphenols. These are natural antioxidants that protect the brain from tiny stressors, like oxidative stress and inflammation, that build up silently over time. Think of polyphenols as a gentle shield for your mind. They don't make the world quieter, but they can help your brain respond to it with less tension. That's something many of us don't realize. Deep sleep often depends more on how relaxed the mind is than how tired the body feels. There's also a lesser-known vitamin in apples, vitamin P or bioflavonoids. These support circulation and help calm the nervous system. In practice, that means your heart rate eases, your breath slows, and your mind stops racing. And here's what's beautiful: none of this requires a big change. You're not overhauling your diet, committing to a strict bedtime, or spending money on supplements you can't pronounce. You're simply drinking a small glass of apple juice, maybe while listening to soft music or sitting quietly on the porch. That's it, no pressure. Just a natural, comforting way to tell your body, the day is done, you can rest now. If you live with someone, this can even become a small, shared ritual. If you live alone, it becomes a moment that belongs entirely to you. One of the few in the day that isn't about doing, helping, or remembering. It's just a gentle act of care, and it matters. In fact, one of the most overlooked causes of poor sleep after 60 is the lack of signal. Our bodies need small cues to know that it's safe to rest. A dim room, a slower breath, a warm blanket, and yes, sometimes a glass of something familiar and grounding. Now, it's important to be mindful of what kind of apple juice you're drinking. Choose a natural, unsweetened version, ideally cold-pressed or homemade with no added sugars or preservatives. About half a cup to 1 small glass is all you need. You're not trying to flood your system, you're sending a message, and messages don't have to be loud to be heard. Drink it about 30 to 60 minutes after dinner, well before bedtime, so your body has time to absorb the nutrients and settle. You might be surprised how something so simple, so ordinary, could make such a noticeable difference. Sleep isn't about fighting your body into silence. It's about creating the conditions where it feels safe enough to let go. Apple juice isn't a cure-all, but for many older adults, it's been a quiet, reliable step toward nights that feel more peaceful and mornings that feel a little more like waking up instead of just getting through another day. And sometimes, that's enough to change everything. Part 2. Watermelon juice. Stay asleep by staying hydrated. Waking up at 3 a.m. with a dry mouth, stiff legs, or that vague sense of something being off is more common than most people admit, especially after 60. It's easy to blame the usual suspects: age, hormones, stress. But one quiet culprit often slips under the radar: dehydration. Not severe, not dangerous, just enough to wake the body from sleep, signaling discomfort the brain can't ignore. The truth is, even a small drop in hydration can trigger a chain reaction: restless legs, muscle cramps, dry throat, even a spike in nighttime blood pressure. You might not feel thirsty, but your body knows. That's where watermelon juice comes in. While most people think of watermelon as a summer treat, it's actually one of the most sleep-supportive fruits you can keep in your kitchen. Watermelon is made of over 90% water. That means drinking a small glass in the evening helps your body hold onto the hydration it needs, not just to fall asleep, but to stay asleep. When your cells are hydrated, your muscles don't cramp, your heart rate stays steady, and your nervous system feels more at ease. You're less likely to toss, turn, or wake up groggy. But it's not just the water content that makes watermelon special. It's also rich in magnesium and potassium, two minerals essential for muscle relaxation and electrolyte balance. These are the same nutrients often depleted by medications, caffeine, or even just the natural aging process. If you've ever been woken up by a sudden charley horse or aching calves, chances are you were low on one or both of them. Watermelon helps refill those reserves gently without overwhelming your system. There's also lycopene, a bright red antioxidant found in watermelon flesh. It helps reduce internal inflammation, which plays a hidden role in disrupted sleep. Even low-grade inflammation can trigger micro-wake-ups, those subtle moments when your sleep is technically interrupted, even if you don't fully open your eyes. Over time, these add up, leaving you feeling tired in the morning, even after a full night's sleep. Lycopene supports heart health and lowers oxidative stress, two foundational pieces for a steady, uninterrupted rest. What's powerful about watermelon juice is that it's light. It doesn't sit heavy on your stomach. It won't spike your blood sugar if consumed in moderation. And most importantly, it works with your body's natural rhythms. About half a cup to one small glass after dinner, ideally 1 to 2 hours before bed, is more than enough. You're not aiming to flood your system with fluids right before sleep. You're giving your body just enough hydration and nutrients to avoid the slow drain that can silently interrupt your night. It's worth noting that as we age, our sense of thirst often dulls. You might think you're well hydrated when you're actually not. You might stop drinking fluids earlier in the evening to avoid nighttime bathroom trips, only to find yourself waking up anyway, uncomfortable and tense. It's a delicate balance, but watermelon juice can help tip the scale back in your favor. Hydrating earlier in the evening, not right before bed, gives your body time to absorb and stabilize, reducing the need for bathroom trips while still supporting sleep. And then there's the emotional side. A glass of watermelon juice can feel refreshing, comforting, even nostalgic. Maybe it reminds you of summer picnics, front porch conversations, or the easy calm of a quiet afternoon. That's not just sentimental, it's therapeutic. Emotional ease and physical relaxation are more connected than we often realize. When you feel good, calm, hydrated, and cared for, your body naturally lets go. Sleep follows not because you forced it, but because you created the right conditions for it to arrive. Watermelon juice won't solve every sleep problem, but for many older adults, it quietly addresses several of the small, often overlooked factors that chip away at sleep quality over time. Hydration, muscle function, heart rhythm, emotional comfort, it touches them all. And like most good habits, it's simple. It doesn't require change. It invites you back to something your body already understands: balance, ease, and rest. Sometimes staying asleep is not about doing more, but about giving your body less to fight through. Part 3. Papaya juice. Relax body and mind from the inside out. Some nights your body feels heavy before your mind is ready. Other nights it's the opposite. Your thoughts have slowed down, but your legs won't stop aching, your shoulders stay tense, and no position feels comfortable. That kind of restlessness isn't dramatic or painful, but it's persistent, and it keeps you hovering at the edge of sleep without ever fully crossing into it. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone, and you may not need another routine or relaxation method. You may simply need to help your nervous system and your muscles unwind together, and papaya juice can be a surprisingly gentle way to do just that. Papaya is often seen as a tropical fruit, something you'd slice up on a summer day, but underneath its sweetness is a rich combination of nutrients that directly support calm, physical comfort, and emotional steadiness. It's especially helpful for those who feel both mentally drained and physically tense in the evenings, a common combination after 60. The key lies in its high levels of magnesium and choline. Magnesium helps your muscles let go. It works deep in the tissue, easing tightness that builds up from posture overuse or simply a long day of doing more than you expected. When your muscles relax, your brain often follows. That's because the body and mind don't work in isolation. Physical tension sends stress signals to the brain, keeping it on alert. Ease the tension and the brain stops scanning for danger. Choline, on the other hand, works more directly with your mind. It supports the part of your nervous system that helps regulate mood and attention. If you've ever felt emotionally jittery for no real reason or found yourself mentally on long after dinner, low choline could be part of the story. Papaya gently restores that balance, helping your mind exhale. You're not sedated, you're simply not stuck in high gear anymore. What makes papaya juice different from heavier sleep aids is how well it respects your system. It doesn't force sleep, it creates conditions where sleep feels safe and accessible. This matters especially for people who are sensitive to medications or who have health concerns that limit what they can take at night. A small glass of fresh papaya juice offers a subtle, nourishing way to tell your entire system it's okay to rest now. Beyond magnesium and choline, papaya is also rich in antioxidants like vitamin A and vitamin C. These not only support immune health and skin repair, but help reduce internal inflammation that can quietly interfere with sleep. Think of it this way: every night your body repairs itself, but that process can't happen well if your system is still on alert. Papaya helps lower that background noise so the natural healing cycle can begin, both physically and emotionally. And there's another angle that's often overlooked: digestion. After 60, digestion tends to slow down. Late-night discomfort, bloating, or an unsettled stomach can quietly keep you awake or make it harder to fall back asleep. Papaya contains an enzyme called papain, which helps your body break down food more efficiently. That means less pressure on your stomach and fewer disruptions during the night. It's not a laxative, not a digestive crutch, just a natural support to help the whole system calm down after a long day. The key, as always, is timing and moderation. One small glass, around 4 to 6 ounces, about an hour after dinner is enough. Don't drink it right before bed. Give your body time to absorb the nutrients and respond without rushing digestion into your sleep window. And make sure you're using ripe papaya. Avoid unripe or seed-filled versions which can irritate the stomach or cause discomfort in some people. Papaya juice doesn't promise miracles, but for many older adults, it has become part of a quiet evening ritual, a way to care for the body and the mind at the same time. It's gentle, familiar, and effective. And in a world that often asks too much of you, that kind of soft support might be exactly what you need. You don't have to fight for sleep. Sometimes you just have to stop fighting everything else and let something real, something natural take care of the rest. Part 4. Pineapple juice help your brain rest by improving blood flow. Sometimes you're tired, truly tired, but your mind won't turn off. Not because you're anxious or worried, but because it feels like your brain never got the message that it's time to rest. This isn't about being overstimulated or thinking too hard. It's about circulation. The older we get, the more our blood flow slows. And when less oxygen reaches the brain, the body has to work harder to settle into sleep. You might not notice it during the day, but at night, when everything is supposed to wind down, your brain might still be running on low power, not enough to focus, but just enough to keep you awake. That's where pineapple juice comes in. This fruit is far more than sweet and tropical. It contains a unique enzyme called bromelain, which has been studied for its ability to reduce inflammation and improve blood flow. Better circulation means more oxygen reaches the brain, and when the brain is properly nourished, it can finally do what it's been trying to do all evening: rest. Bromelain is especially helpful after 60 when circulation often becomes sluggish. Whether due to medication, cholesterol buildup, or just time itself, our blood vessels aren't as flexible as they used to be. That can lead to tension, headaches, poor concentration, and yes, shallow, broken sleep. Pineapple gently supports the vascular system, helping the blood move more freely without straining the heart. And when the brain receives steady oxygen, it stops sending out alarm signals. You're no longer stuck in that light, half-asleep state. You fall into deeper stages of sleep, more restorative, more healing. But pineapple juice does more than improve blood flow. It's rich in vitamin C, which plays a key role in reducing nighttime stress. You might not feel stressed in the traditional sense, but your nervous system can still be operating at a low hum, reactive, unsettled, not fully relaxed. Vitamin C helps regulate cortisol levels and supports neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, which influence mood and sleep cycles. In simpler terms, pineapple juice helps your brain shift gears so it can ease out of alertness and into rest. It also supports areas of health that often get overlooked in the sleep conversation: joints and eyes. For many older adults, minor joint discomfort or eye fatigue can make it harder to fall asleep comfortably. Pineapple contains antioxidants that ease inflammation in these areas, helping you settle into bed without that nagging discomfort that doesn't hurt enough to treat but does just enough to keep you restless. Now, like any fruit juice, moderation matters. Pineapple is naturally sweet, so you don't need a large glass. About 4 to 6 ounces in the early evening, about an hour after dinner, is enough. You're not trying to trigger a sugar spike, you're aiming for subtle support. And always choose fresh or cold-pressed pineapple juice when possible. Avoid canned versions with added sugars or preservatives, which can undo the very benefits you're looking for. One word of care: if you're on blood thinners or have a sensitive stomach, consult your doctor before drinking pineapple juice regularly. Bromelain can interact with certain medications or cause mild irritation in people with reflux. That said, most people tolerate it well in small, controlled amounts, and when it works, the results are quiet but powerful: deeper sleep, smoother mornings, and a calmer mind at bedtime. Pineapple juice isn't about knocking you out or making bold promises. It's about giving your brain what it needs to stop working so hard. Improved blood flow, less internal tension, and a natural drop in stress signals. That's what creates the conditions for real rest. And in the long run, that kind of rest is what keeps you clear-headed, emotionally balanced, and physically resilient. So the next time your body is tired but your mind just won't settle, consider a small glass of pineapple juice. Not as a cure, but as a soft, steady way of helping your brain remember that it can finally let go. You've done enough for today. It's time to rest, and pineapple might just be the thing that helps your body believe it. Part 5. Cherry juice, nature's gentle switch for chronic insomnia. If you've struggled with sleep for months, or even years, you know the difference between a bad night and a pattern that quietly takes over your life. Chronic insomnia doesn't always look dramatic. It's often a quiet exhaustion that builds over time, showing up in slow mornings, short tempers, forgetful moments, and a body that feels heavier than it should. And perhaps the hardest part is that you've tried everything. You've followed routines, limited caffeine, dimmed the lights, taken supplements, and still find yourself staring at the ceiling night after night. If this is your story, cherry juice might be the softest, most surprising shift you haven't yet tried. Unlike most fruit juices, cherry juice contains not just nutrients, but something your sleep-deprived body has likely been craving: natural melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone that helps regulate your internal sleep-wake cycle, and after 60, your body produces less of it. Without enough melatonin, your system loses its rhythm. You might feel tired but still not be able to fall asleep, or you fall asleep fast but wake up 2 or 3 hours later wide awake and restless. Cherry juice gently restores that rhythm. It doesn't override your body, it reminds it. It acts like a soft signal that says, "It's okay now, you can let go." But melatonin alone isn't what makes cherry juice special. It also contains tryptophan, an amino acid that supports serotonin production, which in turn promotes melatonin. In simple terms, cherry juice doesn't just add melatonin, it helps your body make more of its own. This layered support is why multiple clinical studies have found that older adults who drink tart cherry juice before bed sleep longer, wake less often, and feel more alert in the morning. Not dramatically, not overnight, but noticeably. There's also the matter of antioxidants. Cherries are rich in compounds that reduce inflammation and protect brain function. For people dealing with age-related memory decline, these antioxidants provide subtle but important support. Better brain health often translates into better sleep, Not just more hours in bed, but real sleep that heals, restores, and renews. And if you've ever dealt with sleepwalking, vivid dreams, or inconsistent sleep cycles, the compounds in cherry juice may help calm those as well. Again, it's not magic. It's nature doing what it does best when we let it. What's especially helpful about cherry juice is how easy it is to incorporate. There's no need to change your whole routine or build a complicated plan around it. Just one small glass, about 4 to 6 ounces, 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime is enough. Choose unsweetened tart cherry juice if you can. It's more potent and less likely to spike blood sugar. If the tartness is too strong, dilute it with a bit of water or mix it into a calming herbal tea. The goal isn't to overwhelm your system. It's to create a gentle, reliable signal that helps your body wind down naturally. It's also worth noting that the ritual matters. Sitting down, sipping slowly, allowing the moment to be quiet and uninterrupted, that act itself becomes part of the medicine. In a culture that pushes productivity, sleep becomes something we try to achieve, but sleep isn't a task, it's a surrender, and cherry juice taken mindfully can become your permission to stop trying so hard. Of course, as with everything, pay attention to how your body responds. If you have diabetes or issues with blood sugar, consult your doctor before adding fruit juices into your nightly routine. But for most people, tart cherry juice is safe, gentle, and surprisingly effective. And it speaks especially well to those of us who have grown tired of trying to fix sleep and are now simply looking for a softer way back to it. Chronic insomnia doesn't have to define your nights, and you don't have to force sleep anymore. Cherry juice may not be a miracle, but it is a message. One that says kindly and clearly, you are allowed to rest, you've earned it, let your body remember how. Let sleep come not as something you chase, but as something you welcome in. If there's one thing we've learned through all of this, it's that sleep, true healing sleep, isn't something we can force. It's something the body returns to when it feels safe, supported, and gently invited. The juices we explored today aren't quick fixes. They don't knock you out or overwrite your biology. They simply help bring balance back to the systems that over time have grown quiet, tired, or out of rhythm. Apple juice calms the mind with subtle signals of relaxation. Watermelon hydrates the body in ways that ease restlessness. Papaya restores the nervous system from the inside out. Pineapple helps circulation carry the message of rest to every part of the brain. And cherry whispers to the entire body, it's okay to let go now. Each of these is small, but small doesn't mean insignificant, especially after 60. When the body becomes more sensitive and every decision carries more weight, the simplest choices often have the greatest impact. A small glass, a quiet moment, a gesture of care just for you. So if sleep has felt far away lately, I hope this gives you a place to begin again. Not by trying harder, but by softening. Not by chasing sleep, but by creating space for it to arrive. Thank you for spending this time with me. It means something that you're here, that you're still looking for ways to care for yourself, to feel better, to sleep more deeply. Wherever you are tonight, alone with someone you love, or simply with your own thoughts, I hope you know this: you deserve rest. You are allowed to rest. And I truly hope that tonight you do. Sleep well, you've earned it.